environmental ecological footprint by the region of the country. And you can see how the US, North America has such a high ecological footprint. Global hectares per person. It is very, very high in North America. Can you see that? It is approximately 9 global hectares per person in the US. And the average capacity is 1.7. Right? And in Africa, it is 1. And the average across the country is 1.7. So people in Africa, people in Asia Pacific. Now this is 2001 information. Okay, Asia also has China. So this has changed now. But this is from 2001. But you can see that 20 years ago, Africa was at 1. Asia Pacific was, around 1, 1.2, 1.3, and all of them were under 1.7. So, and US was at 9. North America was at 9. And how much capacity do we have? 1.7. So if everyone on planet Earth lived like someone in the US, we need 5 planet Earths. Now the problem is, everyone in other parts of the world is trying to live like the US. Everyone is aspiring to have that kind of lifestyle. And that's a problem. And the US has to decrease, but I think others should not try to become like the US also. The US has to reduce its footprint, and people in China, people in India, people in Indonesia should not try to become like the US. If they do and if they succeed, then we'll have to come up with a few more Earths to support us. And then you can see the difference between the biocapacity and the ecological footprint. So it's only in Asia, in some places, that the biocapacity was higher. Most of the places the biocapacity is much, much lower. That is, the footprint is much higher than the biocapacity in most places. And these are some of those, I've just put out some of those countries. So in Australia, they have a footprint very high. But because there's so much of land, it's a very big land and the population is very low, their biocapacity is very high per capita. So they can survive. But India, even in 2001, its ecological footprint is only 0.8 compared to the US ecological footprint of 9. But its biocapacity is only 0.5. So even though the ecological footprint is very low, biocapacity is even lower. So even in 2005 it had a deficit, 2000 it had a deficit. And now the deficit would be much more now, because so much more consumption has happened in India. And in the US, the ecological footprint 10.3, available capacity of 6.7, still a deficit of 3.6. So many countries have to improve, and countries like Canada and Australia, they can afford to have high biocapacity, but we must try to convince them to have less footprint, because then their biocapacity is something that other countries can use. India can use, US can use, because that surplus capacity can be shared with others. And generally, high-income countries have a higher footprint. We saw that from our 4 examples, right? Germany versus India. So, and this is an old number, old graph, but it holds true. Higher the income of the country, higher the footprint. I think the next graph that I have, I want to spend some time now. Okay. You can get ecological footprint of a city also. So here in this slide you can see that for the city of Tokyo to live within its biocapacity, it will need more land than the entire country of Japan. Okay, just for the city of Tokyo. It will need more land than the country of Japan. So many cities and countries are using much more than their capacity, and we all have to reduce. And if we don't, this is you can see how the amount of number of Earths that we need has been increasing. And if we did not change this, right, we will need by 2050 2.5 Earths. So maybe someone at NIT Patna can come up with some strategy to make another Earth and put it out there so humankind can survive. otherwise it's going to be a challenge. And with some rapid reduction, we can probably bring it down a little bit. Maybe to even 1. This is impossible. I don't think we can come back to 1 Earth. It will be very, very difficult. But we should at least try to prevent it from going to 2 or definitely more than 2. Okay, this I want to spend some time on this, okay? Earth Overshoot Day. Meenakshi said she knows what this concept is. Meenakshi, could you explain this? What is Earth Overshoot Day?
I was thinking a little bit, I'm not very sure whether it's the correct concept or not. Suppose, imagine that we are 100 people living on the planet, and I just said that 1.7 is the requirement. You multiply it by 100, that is the daily requirement. Now suppose one day your daily requirement shoots up. You require 50 more units than that. That means you're overshooting the target in terms of resources.
Right. I'll explain. It's good. It's a correct explanation. I'll explain it in a different way. So the Earth has so many people and they're consuming resources. The Earth provides so much of resources for us to consume every year. Okay? So in 1971, in 1971, so on the left side of the graph, this image is not very clear. On the y-axis, the bottom is January and the top is December. Okay? During the course of the year, okay, let me put it this way. I have 100 kg of sugar, let's say. And this 100 kg of sugar is for me to consume in 2025. Okay? And I'm consuming sugar and so on. And I'm able to go from Jan 1st of 2025 and although I was supposed to use it by December 31st, 2025, by December 1st of 2025 my sugar is over. Okay? But I have another 100 kg for next year. So I start using next year's quota today. The day when I finish my current supply and start using from the next year is the overshoot day. Okay? So 1971, December 29th or 30th was the Earth Overshoot Day. We were using resources for the entire year. We were making it last till December 28th or 29th of that year. But over a period of time, by the time we got to 2023, Earth Overshoot Day was around 15th of August. Okay? Another way to put it is, all of us get a monthly salary, okay? And we are supposed to last from 1st of the month to the 31st of the month. And by the 18th of the month, our bank balance is 0. Okay? Rest of the time we are borrowing from the next month's salary. That's what we are doing here. So that's the Earth Overshoot Day.
For 2025 it is shifted to
5th June? Are you sure?
Yes.
Just do a check again. Just do a check. I think 5th June is a big jump because last year it was August 15th or so. So August 15th to 5th June is a shocking jump. Yeah? Yeah? 3 months is a big gap. 3 months is a big, because can you see, it's not jumping by 3 months. It's jumping by 5 or 6 days. So you can see this, how this has changed. From December 30th or so, August, this is August, maybe July, maybe end of July, right? It's 5th June. This is can you do that for 2024? It's the same. So how did it change so much? 1 month. So I don't know. I mean, these are all fairly neutral. So I don't know how this has happened, but we are, it's like you guys when we get a monthly salary, rather than going the full month, we are finishing by the 15th of the month, we're finishing everything in our bank account. So this is a huge problem. We are continuing to borrow from the future. And there's only so much of future we can borrow from because we only have 1 Earth. systems will start collapsing and they will not be able to come back.
We were moving in, I think, 2017 or so.
Yeah, we probably were. I mean, you can see, here it has gone back up, right? That might be because of COVID.
Yeah.
Not much consumption happened, production happened, so our consumption went down. So now let's look at which are the big countries. Okay, now in the next graph, in 2024, this graph is not so good. Just go to Google Images and shoot for and just look up in your phone.
Yes, sir.
You got it right? Can you find India in that?
I'll share in the group.
Yeah. Just share in the group. Just share that in the group, and just find what India's Earth overshoot. That is, if everyone in the world lived according to that country, the consumption of that country, what would be the Earth overshoot date? And this country is the first one. This is the worst country. Okay, this one is that Qatar? Yeah. So if everyone in the world lived like people in Qatar, Earth overshoot day would be sometime in Feb 15th?
6th.
Feb 6th. Okay? So if everyone in the world lived like Qatar, Feb 6th would be. So where is India in this? India is not in the list? What about US? US will be somewhere around March or so.
March
March
30th.
30.
March 13. If everyone lived like everyone in the world lived like people in the US, March 13th is the date. Now let's look at some of the countries that are known to be sustainable. Okay, New Zealand and Denmark. They're supposed to be the leaders in sustainability. Yeah,
Denmark is March 19.
New Zealand and Denmark.
Denmark is March 19.
See, even some of the more sustainable countries, they're consuming lots of resources. New Zealand is April 30th. See, 30th. Yeah. So even some of the most sustainable countries, if everyone lived like them, the human race does not have much of a chance. Who's saving us? Countries like this. Indonesia, and which are the other countries on the other side? On the Yeah. Brazil, what is the Brazil date?
1st of August.
1st of August.
Yes. It was showing from the graph also we got the sustainable development after this COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ecological footprint was lower than the per capita.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Brazil
It's doing a good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
India is first August.
India is when?
First August. Not there in Earth overshoot day.
Yeah.
So India falls on 1st August.
1st August. So India is 1st August. So it's fortunately Indonesia is a big country, right? Lots of population. So we should all aspire to live not Americans but like Indonesians or Nicaraguans.
India's in Indonesia when?
November something.
November 18.
November 18. Okay, so Indonesia and Nicaragua. Which are the other countries on this side, on the left side? Peru,
Tunisia, Ghana.
Mexico.
Mexico, Ghana. So we should aspire to live like those countries.
But only thing is that the GI value in that country
It's not very high, that's right. So that's the conflict, right?
Yeah.
That's the conflict that we discussed this morning.
Yeah. And still Bhutan happiness is good, right?
Very good.
Bhutan, Denmark,
So this gives us a way to see how each country is doing, right? And you can see where India stands in comparison to every other country. You can see where US stands with respect to every other country. But the scary thing is June 5th. So June 30th is the halfway mark. So it's like using up your entire salary for the month before 15th of the month. Okay, so we are in pretty bad shape. when do we start acting on sustainability? Yeah, if we can show, it's a very short video. Yeah. I want you to look at, okay? These are some calculators. Okay, let me back up a little bit on this. You know, for most of us, we have been led to believe that the purpose of education is to get a good job, right? But I would say the purpose of education is for us to become better people so we can contribute more positively to the human race. Okay? That was the original purpose of education. The original purpose of education when there was formal education 3,000 years ago, whether it was in India or China or Greece, it was not for the people who get educated to become richer or more powerful. It was for people to get educated to use the natural skills, God-given talents that they have, learn some skills also, and then try to make the world a better place. Okay? So for this course, yes, you'll get a certificate, but for me, what I'd really like is all of us to become better people to contribute to society. Okay? And that, all of us can make a difference. Now, for example, we saw India's number, August, USA number 13 or something, March 13 or so. You might not be able to change India's overshoot day. Maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when you become the Prime Minister of India, you can probably change it. Okay? Or you become the Prime Minister of US, you can probably change it. But that's in the future. Today, you can control something, and that is your footprint. Okay? You have control over your life, and you can change that. If your footprint is high, you can try to make it low. And if your footprint is high and you try to make it low, when you speak about lowering the footprint, you have more legitimacy. Right? People should listen to you, will listen to you because you have reduced your footprint. Okay? So therefore, one of the first things that we need to do is to find out our footprint. Tomorrow I'll give you an exercise. Tomorrow from 2 to 3, Professor Mandal, 2 to 3, we are going to architecture, right? Some of us.
Yeah.
And that?
Most of the
faculty also. But the other student course participants will be here.
Yeah.
And from 2 to 3, you'll get time to calculate your footprint. And I'll give you a form also. Okay? And these are the different calculators. So you can actually take a screenshot of this, okay? So then we give you different calculators. And if you find some other calculator, use that calculator. Use whichever calculator works for you. But the form that I send you will ask you to do a careful accounting of everything that you consume. How much water you consume for drinking, for bathing, for washing clothes, everything. Okay? How much water, how much energy you spend for, like for example, if you travel by car or by scooter or walking, how much energy you spend. It will ask you to do all of that. And you can plug it into this calculator and find out one of those two things. You'll find either how many earths are required for your lifestyle. If everyone lived on planet Earth with your lifestyle, how many earths are required? Or how many global hectare acres are required. Like remember, that guy said 1.7 GHA. But for your lifestyle, you need 1 or 1.7 or 3.4 or 5.1. You'll get that. Any of these calculators will give you that. Okay? And then, after you do all these calculations, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to come up with, well, actually one thing, but I want you to come up with 3 ways in which you will reduce your footprint in the next 3 years. Okay? And then 3 years later, I'll come back and I'll check whether you've done that. No, I'm not going to, okay? But
No, you are going to come. If you have mentioned, then you will come. I can see that you are coming within.
Or we will send you our result 3 years later.
huh?
Or we will send you our result 3 years later.
No, that I am assuring you that after 3 years you will be here. That's my responsibility. How will you come? I will be instrumental in that.
Okay. So this is important, okay? I mean, so for me, the most positive outcome from this course is not you guys getting the certificate. The most positive outcome to come from this is to finding out your footprint and the changes you would make to your footprint that would reduce your footprint. Okay? So that's the biggest outcome from this course, really. Not all the, it's good to have all this knowledge. Knowledge is good, but if it does not change who you are and your impact in society, then that knowledge is useless. Okay? Okay, there are many ways to reduce this, and for the country, you can have ecological modernization. We can come up with better industries, better technology to reduce our ecological footprint, and efficiency can reduce our ecological footprint. Okay, now, any questions on this thus far? I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a video and then we'll end there. Okay? Water. And this is the story of bottled water. Why bottled water is such a big problem all over the world. Any reactions to it? Had you seen this before? I know Minashi had probably seen this, but others, had you guys seen this before?
Yes.
Yeah, you had seen it, okay. Others? Yeah, what's your reaction to this?
Actually, I have seen different thing that the resources we are using in 1 year
Yeah.
is now renewing in 1.8 years.
Yeah,
That is the time taken.
that's the time taken, yeah. That's the reverse side of this, yeah. You think it's reversible? Okay.
The way we increase our rates,
Yeah.
same way we can also like maintain it, because we have done it in between 1 or 2 years, like in 80s, 1980s also and in 2000s also some years.
Yeah.
So I think we have a few examples or there is a positive outcome in some years. So I think it can be done in future. When it will be mostly in crisis, then we will take the better action.
But did we...
into solutions.
Well, we'll have to look into that because if you look at the entire, from 1970 to 2025, 55 years, you know, maybe 1 or 2 years it's gone back a
Live
little
in
bit.
a city.
But throughout, it's gone in the negative direction, right? So I'm not sure whether we can...
Well, Fiji brand water,
I
I thought
hope-
the answer to this question was obvious. So that ad can. Bottled water against tap water. Is
And we can maximize the screen. This is from the same group that put together the story of stuff, okay?
This is a story about a world obsessed with stuff. It's a story about a system in crisis. We're trashing the planet, we're trashing each other, and we're not even having fun. The good thing is that when we start to understand the system, we start to see lots of places to step in and turn these problems into solutions. One of the problems with trying to use less stuff is that sometimes we feel like we really need it. What if you live in a city like, say, Cleveland, and you want a glass of water? Are you going to take your chances and get it from the city tap? Or should you reach for a bottle of water that comes from the pristine rainforest of Fiji? Well, Fiji brand water thought the answer to this question was obvious, so they built a whole ad campaign around it. It turned out to be one of the dumbest moves in advertising history. You see, the city of Cleveland didn't like being the butt of Fiji's jokes, so they did some tests, and guess what? These tests showed a glass of Fiji water is lower quality, it loses taste tests against Cleveland tap, and costs thousands of times more. This story is typical of what happens when you test bottled water against tap water. Is it cleaner? Sometimes, sometimes not. In many ways, bottled water is less regulated than tap. Is it tastier? In taste tests across the country, people consistently choose tap over bottled water. These bottled water companies say they're just meeting consumer demand. But who would demand a less sustainable, less tasty, way more expensive product, especially one you can get for almost free in your kitchen? Bottled water costs about 2,000 times more than tap water. Can you imagine paying 2,000 times the price of anything else? How about a $10,000 sandwich? Yet people in the U.S. buy more than 500 million bottles of water every week. That is enough to circle the globe more than 5 times. How did this come to be? Well, it all goes back to how our materials economy works, and one of its key drivers, which is known as manufactured demand. If companies want to keep growing, they have to keep selling more and more stuff. In the 1970s, giant soft drink companies got worried as they saw their growth projections starting to level off. There's only so much soda a person can drink. Plus, it wouldn't be long before people began realizing that soda is not that healthy and turned back to gas drinking tap water. Well, companies found their next big idea in a silly designer product that most people laughed off as a passing yuppie fad. Water's free, people said back then. What will they sell us next? Air? So how do you get people to buy this fringe product? Simple. You manufacture demand. How do you do that? Well, imagine you're in charge of a bottled water company. Since people aren't lining up to trade their hard-earned money for your unnecessary product, you make them feel scared and insecure if they don't have it. And that's exactly what the bottled water industry did. One of their first marketing tactics was to scare people about tap water with ads like Fiji's Cleveland campaign. When we're done, one top water executive said, tap water will be relegated to showers and washing dishes. Next, you hide the reality of your product behind images of pure fantasy. Have you ever noticed how bottled water tries to seduce us with pictures of mountain streams and pristine nature? But guess where a third of all bottled water in the U.S. actually comes from? The tap. Pepsi's Aquafina and Coke's Dasani are 2 of the many brands that are really filtered tap water. But the pristine nature lie goes much deeper. In a recent full-page ad, Nestle said, bottled water is the most environmentally responsible consumer product in the world. What? They are trashing the environment all along the product's life cycle. Exactly how is that environmentally responsible? The problems start here with extraction and production, where oil is used to make water bottles. Each year, making the plastic water bottles used in the U.S. takes enough oil and energy to fuel 1 million cars. All that energy spent to make the bottle, even more to ship it around the planet, and then we drink it in about 2 minutes? That brings us into the big problem at the other end of the life cycle, disposal. What happens to all these bottles when we're done? 80% end up in landfills, where they will sit for thousands of years, or in an they are burned, releasing toxic pollution. Next, it's collected for recycling. Curious about where the plastic bottles and bins go? I found out that shit to India, so I went there. Never forget riding over a hill, face to face with a massive California. The real when these bottles are back into bottles. But that wasn't. Instead, these bottles were downcycled, which means turning products that would just be chucked later. Parts that couldn't be downcycled were thrown away, shipped all the way to India just to be in someone else's backyard. Water companies want to use mountains on their label. It would be more accurate to show one of these mountains, scaring us and misleading us. Strategies are all core parts of demand. Once they demand, creating a new multi, they defend it by beating action. But in this case, it is our basic human right to safe drinking water. They publicly said that it's tap water. And bottled water is the best alternative. In many places, public water is to polluting industries like, and these bottled water guys are happy to offer their expensive solution to keep us hooked on their products. They took back the tap, making a personal commitment to not drink bottled water unless the water is truly unhealthy. Yes, foresight to grab a reusable bottle. I think we can handle it. Join a campaign that's working on solutions, like demanding clean tap water for all. In the U.S., tap water is underfunded by $2, partly because it only comes from a bottle. People don't have access to clean water. Yet cities all over are spending millions of dollars to deal with all the plastic bottles we throw out. What if that money was spent improving our water systems, or better yet, preventing pollution to begin with? There are many more things we can do to solve this problem. Lobby your city officials to bring back drinking fountains. Work to ban the purchase of bottled water by your school, your organization, or entire city. This is a huge opportunity for millions of people to wake up and protect our wallets, our health, and the planet. The good news is it's already started. Bottled water sales have begun to drop while business is booming for safe, refillable water bottles. Yay! Restaurants are proudly serving tap, and people are choosing to pocket the hundreds or thousands of dollars they would otherwise be wasting on bottled water. Carrying bottled water is on its way to being as cool as smoking while pregnant. We know better now. The bottled water industry is getting worried because the jig is up. We are not buying into their manufactured demand anymore. We will choose our own demands, thank you very much, and we're demanding clean, safe water for all.
Okay. So, you know, in many countries in the world, sometimes in cities, the water quality is not very good, so you have to use bottled water. But in many, many countries, the water in the pipe is actually very, very clean. And these guys come and manufacture demand, and then they get people to use plastic bottles. Yeah. Okay. So at this point,
story about a world of
we can, Professor Mandal, we can either move into a different topic or we can end for the day. What do you prefer? Yeah, we can take a 10-minute coffee break and I'll talk a little bit about urban sprawl after that.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a 10-minute tea or coffee break. It's 3:10, 3:20, let's take a 3:30.